I was out of there, throwing up, not knowing what was going on, but I was throwing up everywhere. Anytime I would even think about moving, I was throwing up. I was so miserable and sick. I threw up all over that cop's yard. I threw up all over Coastal.
Welcome to The Recovery Idiot. Please like and subscribe and visit therecoveryidiot.com, home of the Recovery Idiot Sweatshop. Please follow us on all the social medias and slide into our DMs. The following contains explicit language and situations that some might find unsettling. Viewer discretion is advised.
You approve?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, my name is Leroy, recovered drug addict, alcoholic. And today I'm with...
My name is Steven, recovered drug addict and alcoholic and all the above.
I actually met Steven at a detox a couple times. It wasn't consecutive days in a row. It was months, and he kept coming back, like different trips.
Within the same year, but yeah.
But when I met Steven, I just knew there's something about him that he was one of us. And I was like, this guy is cut from the same cloth as me. I can tell. People know who you are because I told them, that guy Steven showed up to the meeting. Can you believe it? Someone actually listened. The famous in the world of people I know. So how'd you get here?
Born and raised in Florida, actually born in Stewart, Martin County Hospital.
Really?
I'm one of the original Floridians.
Oh my God.
So I grew up in St. Lucie County. My mom and dad got divorced when I was young, and my stepdad came into the picture. I think I was like 5. Kind of was just off the wall. I was like one of the little kids who played with Ninja Turtles and cowboy boots and, you know what I mean? Normal, typical kid. Didn't know I was coming into this lifestyle of living with a complete madman. And my stepdad was a different animal. I didn't really know the difference, all the drug use and the alcohol. And the crazy part is my mom does nothing. She doesn't smoke cigarettes. She doesn't drink. She doesn't do anything. But she got with this guy, and he does everything. Well, did. Bad News Bears and Bad Santa, a good explanation of how he was. So kind of just grew up in that lifestyle. Got introduced to marijuana. Probably was, actually no. First thing I did was sniffing gasoline with my stepbrother. That was the
How
first time
old were you when you did that?
I think I was like 8 or 9. And my stepbrother's like, hey, check this out. And he has a gas can on the kitchen stool by our counter. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's just huffing gasoline, falling over. And I was like, all right, cool, let me try. Because that's usually what everybody thinks about when they see someone else huffing gas. So that was the first time I got high. I didn't know that was going to start the monster that it did over the years. I kind of had to grow up quick. My stepbrother's 5 years older. He was introduced to all that stuff. And, of course, you know, misery loves company, so it dragged me along for the ride. I got introduced to weed. I remember they were packing a socket on the kitchen counter, breaking up weed and packing it into a socket, and I didn't even know what that was. So I said, what are you doing? He said, going to smoke this, you're coming with us. And I was like, all right. So we went down to the woods, which was a set of woods that we had burned down a few times as little pyros before that. Of course, we go down there. I smoke. I didn't get high that time. I don't think I did anyway. I don't remember being messed up in any kind of a way. So I didn't really think anything of it. Then my friends, I had told them about it, and we had all kind of heard about weed growing up. I think it was like 11, 12. I asked my stepbrother again for a joint, and I remember going down to the woods with some other friends and smoking, and I got fucking tore up that time. I was out of there, throwing up, and
that's why overdosed on weed?
I did overdose on weed, I believe, the first time. I remember sitting there just stuck, like not knowing what was going on, but I was throwing up. That's why that Heavin Steven works perfect. Every time I get high like that, I would throw up. I had like a weak stomach.
But you still kept getting high.
Yeah, I can't stop. It's like Pringles, right? As time went on, I smoked more. I didn't really drink until I moved up to Massachusetts. That was like 13. I tried to get away from my parents, my mom and stepdad. I wanted to move in with my dad because he was a little cooler. He kind of let me do whatever. Kind of get away with stuff. More of a friend. So I was like, yeah, I get away from this. My stepdad was abusive, like physically, like scream, and never did anything to my mom, but he would fucking treat us, you know, like crap. Little backtrack. He was my baseball coach for a while, like an assistant one. But they would go to the park and have a cooler of beer. So like first thing I got to do instead of go to practice is go grab this giant 80-pound cooler out of the truck and drag it with no wheels, because none of the coolers had wheels back then. I didn't think about that for a while. So I dragged this cooler over, and then it's like in the middle of practicing, hey, penisless, go get me a beer. I have to run over and go get him a beer. So I say it's literally like Baz New Bears. That was kind of the beginning. You know when you get a holiday and you go back to school and they're like, tell us about your holiday and write a little story about it. I couldn't write about the holidays because we were at some random person's house that we didn't know. We'd stay the night a lot of times. They partied all the time at people's houses. So like, I think about it now, like we were sleeping in some weirdo's bed. They're up all night. I didn't really think anything of it, but I know now what they were doing all night. You know, about tweaked out and fucked up. And I'm in some jizzy-filled bed somewhere, passed out with somebody else's drooly pillow. Like, it's disgusting. So I couldn't go back to school and tell, like, oh, yeah, I had a great weekend here for my Christmas break. I sat around listening to some old guy with long hair play Stairway to Heaven on a guitar all fucked up. And, like, that was my weekend. Like, the teachers didn't want to hear about that.
That would have made a great story.
It probably would have been good, but I was scared to write about it. When I did get with my dad, I finally got away from my stepdad and mom. First, we lived in a trailer park in Fort Pierce. He drove semi-truck, so he kind of bounced around a lot. And I had a grandfather up in Mass, so we were like, fuck this place, let's get away from here and go there. So we went up to Massachusetts. Me and him had an apartment, and he kind of just like, it didn't really matter what I did. I went to school, as long as I was like halfway in school and just showing up now and then. Of course, I draw in the bad kids always. Back in the day, it was like, you're not cool unless you do drugs, smoke weed, get high, drink something. You know what I mean? Smoke cigarettes, really, back then. Cigarettes and weed. I got introduced to some new friends, and we would go out and hang out on the weekends, smoke weed. My dad actually had me get weed for him a bunch of times, so I met all the little drug dealers, too, that way, so then I could get it anytime I needed. I remember the first time I drank, we went and stole Schultz shitty, nasty vodka, and I drank that, and it was so fucking horribly disgusting. And we drunk it walking down the road. Colder than a horse heart out there, too. So, freezing cold, drunk as shit, passed out in the grass, throwing up everywhere. And then I remember the next day, like, we got to do this again. Like, that's the insanity, right? Of course we did, many, many times. That was just started, like, this whole repeated
insanity.
Offense. Yeah, insanity, literally. We're hanging out with them. The first time I took acid was in school. Michelangelo's twice dipped and dried, and they were like, yeah, you want some acid? And I'd never done it, I just heard about it. So I'm like, yeah, sure. I remember being in the lunchroom, and I could like look across, like in a movie, you could like zoom in and see people. I could hear every conversation in the entire lunchroom, like, but I ended up leaving halfway through school day there. But I liked it. I was like, oh, this shit's cool. Felt like I was in a different world. The acid led to ecstasy, which was really good back then.
The real stuff.
It was fun, the real good ecstasy. This isn't like early 97, 98, late 90s. Then cocaine came around. I really liked cocaine. I was like, damn, I found my new friend. That one didn't make me throw up all the time. But everything else I would throw up on. I'd get high, even on eating acid sometimes I'd throw up. Started the cocaine wars there. Ended up staying there for a while. I got in some trouble. And I didn't even do anything either. I had friends that went and robbed some girl's house. She left on vacation, but her parents had a keg in the house. I seen them coming down the road with a bunch of empty milk jugs. And I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? And they're like, do you want to come with us? We're going to go tap her keg. And I'm like, no, I got to go get my dad weed, so I'm going the other way. So I went and got weed, and they went and robbed this house, and the idiots took a bunch of jewelry and stuff like that, and then met up at another house that we used to party at, because their parents would go buy us alcohol and stuff. They were actually pretty cool. When I show up there, I got a necklace and a ring from the girl I was dating. She gave to me. Didn't think anything of it. I went to school, though, like an idiot, and sat down at homeroom with the girl that was there, and she told on me. So I got in trouble for all this shit. My dad's like, you're fucking still fucking up here. I'm sending you back. So he wanted to send me back home, and I was like, no, because I don't have anywhere to go. I got to go back to my mom and stepdad. And by this time, my stepdad had progressed pretty bad. Like, he had cirrhosis of the liver. He was on interferon. He was half the time a vegetable. Like, I didn't really know anything about pills at this time. I had just, done normal drugs that you hear about. I didn't really hear anything about prescription drugs. I got back and I'm thinking in my head, like, damn, how am I going to smoke weed without my mom finding out because it stinks and all this? My stepdad was like, you're good, just smoke. Like, okay, cool. Our relationship kind of changed. And I think it was whenever I first came back, I remember my mom was like, we were cutting some trees down the yard. I had just got back down in Florida. She went inside to get us a drink, and she didn't want him to cut this tree down, and he's like, cut that tree down. Because he was all fucked up, couldn't even really use his clippers and shit, he's fucking weak. And I'm like, I'm not fucking cutting the tree down. She just said don't cut it down. And he fucking smacked me, and I fucking I was like, I'm 17. I'm like, let's hit him back. And he got excited. And I remember looking at him laughing like, you crazy motherfucker. And that like started our whole new relationship. Like, okay, you're cool now. It was like I got let into the cool side of the fucking club. Like, all right. But we got close over the years, but it was all involved with drugs. I figured out they had all these pills. You could go over to where we kept like the microwave and shit. It was like a cabinet. Like a miniature pantry. If you opened it up, it was like Pillhead's heaven. No lie, he had everything. So there was a doctor that was just giving them out at the very beginning of the pill mill days, like before it really took off and what everybody talks about.
And everyone ruined it.
Yeah, they fucked it all up. They all snitched it out.
So he was like an alcoholic, but he was getting pills and wasn't like a junkie with the pills. He was able to keep the...
No, he was a junkie. He was a heroin addict from Detroit.
Oh.
He used to like kick doors in and like steal people's heroin and all kind. I didn't believe his stories till one of his friends came down and started telling us, and I was like, wow, he really is fucking shot out. So all the little stories, I used to think like, he's just fucked up talking shit.
He just wants to look cool. Yeah. He really was crazy.
Yeah, he was really shot out. We got pretty close over that because now I could like, not in the beginning, I was stealing all the pills from him. Figuring out what it was. A friend of mine was like, oh, you guys got all this shit. He was like, holy crap. We had wafers. We had 80s. He had the 160s in the beginning before they deleted them.
That's the unicorn.
Yeah, that's
only a handful of people in the world have ever seen
them. I
the
know.
160.
They were crazy. I didn't never do those. I think I took a Percocet. And then when I figured out what methadone was, I was like, I seen people eating them and they were the wafers. So I broke some of it off, not knowing that's 40 milligrams. Like usually you get 10s. And I fucking ate one. I remember sitting and laying in my bed and I couldn't move. Anytime I would even think about moving, I was throwing up. I was so miserable and sick. But like I said, it didn't matter. Because as soon as it wear off, I want to do it again. Because I'm that kind of a drug addict. Like,
so he was getting methadone and oxy?
And oxy and Roxy's. And Xanax, and Somas. We had Boost Bar. That's when I figured out what that shit was, which is weird. It feels like springs in your body if you take those. So, like, yeah, I weaseled my way down through all these different pills throughout the time, like, figuring out what shit was. And
this is why that doctor's famous.
Yes. I remember my mom was telling me she went in and opened a filing cabinet. It was literally just stacked full of money. And my mom's not one of us, you know what I mean? So she was telling me, and she said that another doctor, she was trying to get him off this stuff, and they were looking through his list of prescriptions. Like, there's enough shit here to kill an elephant. And that's what he would eat on, like, a daily basis. My mom's got pictures of him face first in the ashtray, sucking in and blowing ashes out. Nodded out, sleeping. Eating spoonfuls of butter at freaking Thanksgiving, and he'd slide it over, he'd be knotted out and eat the butter.
So what year was this going down?
I was still up north when the Twin Towers went down, so I came back like that year, in 2001.
That's the same year I discovered it. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I went from like a normal perk to like a 20, and I snorted a 20. It's like, wow, this is great. Then there's a 40. Then there's an 80. Yeah. Oh my god. And the doctors would just give you 270 if anything you wanted. You get 40s, say those weren't strong enough, they give you 80s next time you went. Just back to back. Non-stop pills. I didn't mean to interrupt. I get excited over Oxycontin.
Yeah.
So the 160s you could
chub going.
You can only get them in Philadelphia. People I knew in Philly had a doctor that were getting 160s, but it was like rare, and like back then it was like 50 cents a milligram, which was outrageous.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Like towards the end, when it was $40 for an 80, I was like, "You motherfuckers are crazy!
Yeah,
I'm not paying that," but I did. But they were selling the 160s for like 160 because it was such a
milligram,
rare collectible.
Yeah, it's a unicorn, like you said.
But I never actually seen them. I just heard the stories about them.
I seen them. I just never did them.
Oh,
the Jesus. 80s I did. I didn't really like them as much.
Oh my God, blasphemy!
I know. I got bad onto the Roxy's and into the pill mill life. That started up. I actually got introduced first back into my first love of cocaine. My stepbrother, I was trying to get just a little bit for a party. Because at this time I had moved away from mom and stepdad's. I met my kid's mom. She got pregnant. They were like, oh, okay, we'll help you find a place. So we got a trailer. So we were living in a trailer, which turned into be like this party trap house. Moved in a bunch of friends, which one of them is my wife now. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
She was there from the beginning. But then I tried to go get some powder from my brother, and he told me to go pick up a half ounce, which was way more than I was even wanting. But then the guy told me, he's like, take this too and just give the other half to your brother. So I ended up with a whole ounce the first time, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all this? This is a lot of cocaine. So I know what to do with that. So, of course, we called some people, got rid of a tiny bit, like all put our money together and everything, and it was gone that night. The next day I called and I was like, hey, I need more. And that, I thought I was just going to be like, okay, cool, look at this. Now I'm going to be like fucking
Scarface.
Pablo Escobar, right? Monkey can't sell bananas. I figured that out later. I started doing that bad. And that was the first time that drugs were like, okay, I didn't think I was powerless over it, but I realized now, like, that's when I became like the first realization of being an addict. Like, the pills hadn't really got too out of hand. I guess I did eat a lot of Percocets, but I just didn't think anything of it. So time went on with that. My mom was wondering why I'm not paying my car payment because it was in her name. She had helped me get it. My kid's mom told on me and said that I was doing a lot of coke because I guess she got scared thinking I had a problem. And that's when I ended up in Savannah's, rehab over there off Midway. It was a long time ago. I got put in there. Well, first they called the cops at the house and tried to get me Baker acted. They've never successfully Baker acted or Marchman acted me out of 5 different times. I outsmart them every time. So I got a couple other stories in a minute for Marchman acts and Baker acts. So this one, they come in and I actually had a Oxy 80 sitting on my table. So if you're not fucked up and acting irate, when the cops come, they can't take you. I didn't know this at that time. I was young. But I came in, I remember I was pissed off. They were going to take my car. They were all mad. I got told on for doing coke. Of course, I'm not doing it. I have to lie always. I'm never doing anything. I go in the house. I lock them out of the house. So I'm in there, and then I snort half of an 80 out the table, and now I'm calm. So I sit on the couch, and here come the cops. But they don't see me doing anything. They're like, he's fine. He's not fucking trying to hurt himself. He's not yelling at anybody. We can't take him. So then I was like, you know what? I'll go to make my mom happy so I could get my car back. That's really why I was going. I went into rehab up there. I guess is what it is, like a detox at Savannah's.
Sounds like a strip club.
Kind of turned into one. So as I'm there, I've never been so high on. I've taken a lot of pills, but they're like, the first day there, they start giving you all this stuff. I remember it was like Seroquel, Librium, some other shit too. And I never took any of them psych meds like that. I was trash. Totaled out completely. They had like a drawer with peanut butter sandwiches and all kinds of stuff you could make. And I remember waking up in my bed with shit all over me. Peanut butter, jelly, crackers, crumbs. Felt like crap. So I went to the desk and I told them, I don't give me no more of that. Once the Medline started, I'm bored now. There's nothing going on. And I'm like, okay. So I go to get Medline and they're like, no, you said we can't give you nothing. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm not going to get, you can't till you see the doctor. Now we're not going to give me nothing. So they cut me off completely. So I was mad, but there was a girl there. So she tongued some of her shit and gave me some. Then me and her start talking, hanging out, whatever. And later that night, I went in her room. We hung out, did her little thing. And I didn't know her roommate was asleep underneath on the other side of the bedroom. So her roommate was not down with all that shit. The next day, we woke up and they're releasing me. They're like, we're letting you go. I guess we got told on. So I didn't know at the moment. So I was like, you're getting kicked out for having relations with another person in rehab. And I'm like, what? Okay, fine, I'll leave. I called my grandma up. I'm like, hey, they let me out of here. I'm good.
I'm cured.
Everything's good.
Come
Yeah,
pick me up.
I'm good. Come get me. God bless her, but she's gullible on that. She just wanted to believe me all the time. You know what I mean? She's been like my rider. She's been on my team the entire time, telling everybody he'll get it, he'll get it, he'll get it. So she was my enabler for sure. But this is the very beginning too. I called her. She came to pick me up, and I got that girl's number. The girl calls a few minutes later as I'm getting back to her house because I didn't have a cell phone at that time because this was still early. This was like Nokia fucking block phones and shit. You barely even had one. So she called my grandma's house phone, and I answered the phone, and she's like, they're kicking me out. She's all upset, and I'm like, she don't know what to do. She's not from around here. Well, she is a trust fund kid too. Had a whole bunch of money. I had no idea. So I was like, oh, come pick me up. We'll figure something out. So she's like, I can't pick you up right now. So I was like, Graham, hey, I got a meeting. This place just called and said I got to go to a meeting at the rehab. Can you drop me back off? Because I wasn't allowed to go anywhere or do anything right when I got home. It was like, you're going to stay here and you get the rest of your shit together. Like, you got to be good. Okay. So I got to the parking lot. Graham pulled away, jumped in this girl's van, and we shot off to Palm Beach to some friends I knew and ate ecstasy and partied. And they shot weird films out of their house and shit, too. Like, it was a pretty crazy weekend. I remember it was the 4th of July. I was supposed to be going back to my trailer with my kid's mom and kids and everything. And when I did finally, like, I was like, all right, I think it was like Sunday. I had left like that Thursday. So when I did, like, I got to go back home. Start feeling self-conscious and stuff. So I headed back home and all my shit. This is my trailer anyway. My family got it. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, why is all my stuff out here? This is my shit. You know, of course, being an asshole. Not taking into consideration we got a kid and she needs a place to live too. So I started a big fight and realized I'm not gonna win. I didn't want the cops to come back. So either way, all that shit ended up working out. I manipulated my way through that like I have always done. because I am a master manipulator. That led on to trying to get my shit together for a little while. I didn't want to go back to rehab. I did have that inside me to like try to get clean. Like, okay, this isn't working. I should probably try to get my stuff together a little bit so I could do this on my own. So I had heard a little bit, bits and pieces while I was at the rehab. I really didn't retain any of it. I had only heard of Alcoholics Anonymous at this point through my stepdad, my mom having to take him. I didn't see it work for him either. So I was like, this is bullshit anyway. It's just something the court sentences you to. Lo and behold, it didn't take too long, but I started using again. And then that's when the pill mill days were starting. So friends of mine were like, hey, we can go down south to these doctors and we stand in line, $250 for the visit. And then if you had Medicaid, which I had Medicaid because I had a kid, so they put everybody on Medicaid back then. Like they would just give it out. It was like free samples. So I'm like, all right, they'll pay for your meds. So I went down, and I remember when I walked up to the place, it was nuts. It was like 150 people in a line outside of this little shithole doctor's office waiting for this guy to show up. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be here all day. And they were in and out. I remember the doctor walking up, and he looked like he just left the golf course. He had one golf club on, little short, like Indian guy. And you'd be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, my back hurts. Okay, we have 240 of these, 240 of these, 90 of these. Here you go. See ya. And I was like, wow, that was too easy. That was way too easy. And then to the pharmacy, and they just fill it for free for Medicaid. They didn't have to pay anything.
This is why we need a time machine. We need to go back and do this again the right way.
Yes.
So is this the pill mill that's been on like American Greed, the famous one that everybody was going to?
I don't think so. There were so many down here. I don't know. Because that was just my first one that I went to. That was my first experience.
Okay.
That started up like we were crazy. We were bringing a bunch of other people down. You could just pay for their visit. We would take half their meds and we would get them filled for free. So it was like endless Roxys and Xanax. And that's pretty much all it was. We didn't get many 80s or anything then. It was a lot of the Roxys. But that was the worst thing I've ever been addicted to in my life. Coming off of them, which I only came off being arrested. Because it started the madman that I really am. I got to see how much of a true junkie I really was then. Like, I didn't really want to acknowledge it.
My thing was I have bad luck. I'm not getting arrested again because I'm a junkie. I just have bad luck.
Yeah, right,
like,
of course.
That was my justification. Every single arrest was drug-related, but it had nothing to do with the drugs. I just had bad luck. I didn't have a problem.
No, of course.
But yes, I understand completely. All my detoxing was done after those arrests.
That's the worst detox of any drug I've ever had. Over heroin, over everything. It's coming off, going into the jails and sitting there that miserable. And that's the first time I was really like, damn, I don't want to feel like that ever again. Like, thought about, okay, I really should try to get my shit together and not use. And I would get let out. In truth, I spent pretty much most of my 20s. The first time I got arrested, I was 22. And then I think I spent all but 24, 27, and 29 of my 20s not in jail. Every birthday I was locked up. And most of the time, my birthday's in October, so it was like Christmas, New Year's, and catch all the holidays, go with it. I learned about the drug dorm in there, though. It was just to go in there, and you're going to wear this little blue suit.
You're not going to be behind bars.
Yeah, they let you wander around without handcuffs in the hallways, and you get all these extra chores. If you're lucky, they'll give you real shoes, and not wear the freaking Jesus slippers. Being in a controlled environment like that, I don't do bad. Like, I can actually pull my shit together. If I'm not left to my own devices, like, I could do okay. It was just every time I got let back out, boom, here goes again, down snowball again. That's insanity, right? Knowing the results, doing it anyway. Started to learn about AA, NA through the drug dorm. Used it really just to try to manipulate the judge to get out of trouble, because that suit, if you sat in court with that suit on, everybody said they're going to look at you and you're not going to get as much trouble, which isn't true.
You go to the drug dorm, you get some of your time taken off. That's what everybody was told. And then you go to the drug dorm and they're like, that's not true.
That's not true. What the fuck am I here for?
Now I got to get up every day at 8 in the morning at the same time, make your bed. Fuck that.
Yeah, can't sleep. Yeah, that was sucked. But it kind of introduced me to it. I got to learn at least a little bit about it, which I guess kind of planted the seed in a way. But it never stopped me once I was let back out to my own devices on the streets. It never takes long, and I'm back ripping and running and just tearing everything down. I could build everything back up. Like, I'm real resilient. Like, I can get out and I'll have nothing. Brown sack full of clothes and some white tees that I freaking jimmied from in jail. Even shower. I've walked down Rock Road with shower slides on from the shower before, so I didn't even have shoes when I got arrested. But I could come back up with everything so fast, and then I would just burn it all back down again. I would start back up. the pills were bad. That got me for a long time. I spent my whole 20s pretty much doing that. Once I got introduced to the needle, it got really, really bad. I had a friend, we were going to do a cop's house. We were doing a side job doing tile. He picked me up and I was dope sick as hell. So he's like, do you want to try this? I'm like, nah, take me by so-and-so's. I'll get some of my shit because I didn't want to do it how he was. He wouldn't take me there. So he's like, just do this. So he shot me up. Boom, 80. I threw up all over that cop's yard the whole time. Miserable as fuck. And I'm scared too because it's a cop's house that we're tiling. So that was a fucking horrible experience. And I was like, I'm never going to do this again. As soon as we left the house there, it was like, I guess that monkey got put on my back and I could never do it any other way. And that started up the real devil. That went on for about 4 or 5 years. And that kind of inspired a whole lot of madness in my life. It was still pill mill time, so there were abundance of the shit everywhere. They were really cheap. But now it was no more like trying to just get high for free. I was starting to have to like come up with hustles and rob people and manipulate people and have them front me a bunch and then just rip them off and lose that clientele. You know what I mean? That connect. And I did that a lot. I got a bad name for myself, like where people didn't want to do anything for me because there was like, he's just going to take our shit and not give us anything in return. That's where I started stealing stuff. I thought I was good at it. My first, like, charge, other than driving and stupid shit like that, I think I have, like, 13 driving on and suspended. And they were going to habitualize me and send me to prison. That was all my first 4 or 5 years of going to jail was over driving. Because I couldn't get a license because I never wanted to pay my tickets. My license was always suspended. But I had a car. I'm thinking my mom and grandma were paying my insurance the whole time. I was just so oblivious to reality. I don't even know. But I drove that fucking car around all the time. And I would just get pulled over for driving on a suspended. But now I try to steal from Walmart. So I did successfully steal an Xbox. And tried to steal a TV, but we couldn't get the TV. So the lady took spider wires off the Xbox. We grabbed it. She walks away. They won't take the stolen credit card that we have. Over 300, you have to show ID. I was like, fuck, it's buying it for, it's a gift for somebody. We can't let them know. Either way, they weren't taking it, hearing it. But the lady left the Xbox with all the spider wires and walked over to help another customer. And I was like, boom, under my arm. And then we walked to the front, kicked it around like retards because we were scared to walk through the doors with it. And he's like, I'm like, you take it. No, you take it. We're kicking this Xbox all around the ground. Finally, I just grabbed it and left. And I got away with it. So I was like, sweet, I'm good. Didn't get, because I had heard a lot. Walmart's no place to steal from. No. So I got away with that. But one of my so-called friends got mad at me over a pill deal that he wouldn't wake up and take care of. So I had someone else go with me. He called his buddy that worked in
loss prevention.
But he was best man in his wedding or something, mad at me because I fucked him on a deal. Me and my baby mom were up high as fuck, had a great morning, got plenty of pills. And I'm looking out the window and here comes fucking cops in the trailer park. And I'm like, oh man, hey look, somebody's getting fucked up. Look, there's a bunch of cops across the lot. There's 2 more coming down the road. Somebody's about to get fucked. They pull into our yard. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, they hear from me? What? So I like run in the bedroom and we got a bunch of laundry that had been washed. It probably was half dirty, half washed. Who knows? We were out of our mind back then. And I pull it off the bed into the corner and I lay down underneath it. So I'm like, I can hear the cops coming around the house. All the radios going off. And I hear it slowly get quiet. And I'm like, I got away with it. And then I guess one Curious George motherfucker turns around, comes back in, and my shoe must have been up in the laundry. So he come over and kicked it and could feel it. He's like, come out of there before I fucking tase you. And this is when the tasers were first coming out. So they were all real excited to use those things too. So I was scared. I was like, I'm coming. I got up, boom, got arrested. That stupid charge followed and haunted me for a long time. I ended up going in. I did, I think, 9 months on that. First, the same kid that did it bonded me out, that told on me, that I never even knew. He went and bonded me out on this shit, which was crazy, dude. He's the one that snitched me out and then bonds me out. Like $500. In some lady's house that we lived at. Freaking stealing all her pills. She put her house up and everything for me. Either way, I got put on probation, violated that, of course. Then that haunted me again. I went back in. They sentenced me to the House of Dope, which is House of Hope down in Fort Lauderdale. So I had 9 months county, 365 days in the House of Hope, and 2 years probation with a halfway house. So I did all that. I had to sit in the House of Hope, and that's when I kind of really were like, okay, because the detoxes coming off the pills were so bad that I didn't want to ever feel like that again. I spent that whole time clean. I did do Angel Trumpets one time in there. We went on a nature walk, and I found Angel Trumpets, so we stole the Angel Trumpets out of this lady's yard, and then tried to microwave them, and then thermos, which they kind of worked, but they weren't that strong. I made it through the House of Hope with only one trip. I didn't use anything else there, so I was actually serious about it then. You know, I was like, all right, I'm going to get my shit together. I got this. I'm going to make it through this this halfway house. I'm going to make it through my probation. And I was doing good. I had a good job. I was on a good roll. I decided to come back to St. Lucie County for a little bit. I heard the peaceful places and things so many times that I'm like, oh, I shouldn't go back because then it's going to be around people. Not realizing that it doesn't matter where I'm at. I take myself and I'm the problem. So I didn't know this then. Everybody else was a problem. All the drugs were the problem. All the people were the problem. So I came back here and boom, there goes. Started up. Didn't take me but like a couple days. So I was back on shit. The girl that I was talking to, we got in an argument and she got her ribs broke and slipping and falling on the edge of the tub and got Dilaudid. And we asked the doctor, like, no Dilaudid. And I remember me saying to him, no, don't do the Dilaudid. Because now the Roxys were gone, Dilaudid started. So that was like the main thing around it. I'm like, no. And he's like, have you ever broke your ribs? And I'm like, no. He's like, then you don't need to tell me what I got to give her. She's going to be in pain. And I was just thinking in my head, like, you don't fucking know who you're giving all these pills to, dude. Like, all right, whatever. You know, you don't have to talk me into it too much. You can threaten me with a good time. We went, got that, and boom, right away, off to the races. So I transferred my probation back to St. Lucie County. It took 12 days. I was so faded when I filled the paperwork out that I wrote the wrong address. I intentionally I had an address. I had mail going there. I did not mean to write the wrong numbers down, but I wrote the wrong numbers. So this lady goes and violates me 12 days in. Instead of calling me and be like, hey, I can't find this house. It doesn't exist on this road. Even though my car's in the driveway with a license plate and stuff, she violated me and put it in every violation she possibly could. I remember when I went in there, she opened this filing cabinet and she was like, these are my list of violations that I have already. This is this list that I'm getting soon, and it's tiny little stack of these are the ones that are successful. And I was like, I'm fucked. There's no way I'm gonna make it do this shit. Because I was already using. I knew it wasn't gonna last long. I violated. They got me. I was going to visit a girl at the jail. There was two girls that were friends of mine that were in the Rock Road. So we went in to go visit them. I made it through the first visitation the first day. Then I was going again to the second. I skipped a lot of stuff there. A lot of madness, really. I made it like 3 months on the run, kind of. But the girl I was talking to, she got arrested. So then I was with a different chick, and we started using Flocka a lot. And that's when we were hanging out, and I figured out what Flocka was, and I was like, whoa, this shit's bananas. That's like instant psychosis. That's the longest I've ever been up in my life, like 17 days high on that. And I've heard of people doing that on meth, but it's like a whole new level. So I was flocked out of my mind for a long time, hanging out with strippers and girls from...
Wiener stuff.
No, see, now you're making it weird.
Why?
They were doing wiener stuff. They were doing a lot because it was like a back page thing too for a while. And I would drive these girls around too because I could get pills and drug money from them to be their security guard. And I had a car most of the time. Somehow I always managed to have a vehicle. So I was like easy to manipulate situations, and I could go hang out and they'd be like, hey, drive me over here. Sure. And I would get high with them for free. They want to hang out. And it worked out pretty good that way for a while. I used to think too, they'd be like, oh, we're not doing anything. I'm just going to go in. I got to jack this guy off with my feet. And I'm like, yeah, right. And then one of them showed me a video like jacking this dude with his feet, and I was like, this for real. This dude just paid her like $800 to jack him off with her feet. Dead serious. And then 3 of them one time went in and they were skinny dipping, and I was like, you bitches weren't. They came out with $1,000 each. $1,000. And I was like, there's no way. You guys are full of shit. And they fucking, all of them are swearing. All they did was go skinny dipping with this fucking guy. And he had like a whole pile of blow, and they were fucking hanging out. And I'm like, this is crazy. You guys got it made. If I was a chick.
I know,
man,
women have it
imagine.
so easy. This is what I constantly bring up. We can only have equality when men can get paid to do the same things.
If you know the guys doing cocaine, because
Yeah,
they're not
'cause
going to want...
get it up.
Yeah, they're not going to want anything. They're going to get creative.
You try, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're going to get creative. Have you do the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
But not, no wiener stuff.
No wiener stuff. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
So did they pull up your name as on probation the second visit?
Yep, I went in. My wife, I had run into her a few times. We had been hanging out in between when I was like half sober still, like 3/4 sober. We weren't together then. We were just still friends, but we were talking. So I had disappeared for a while, and she's wondering, where is this Madman at? So here I come bobbing through the mall. Just got my income tax check. Fucking, this was the day after I went to the one visit. And I'm in the mall, and I got my kid and this girl I'm with kid and the girl, and we're out of our minds. Been up for days. No reason to be in public at all. So where we go, bobbing through the mall, and then my wife's standing there, Julie, and she's like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm gone on another planet, and I'm like like almost scared I got caught doing something, you know what I mean? But she's just, where you been, da-da-da. And so I got her number finally because I had a new phone because I lost my phone in the midst of all the madness. But she's like, you got a warrant. I was like, no, I don't. You're out of your mind. I hadn't been to probation. I've been ducking them. I had got a phone call, but it was like, I didn't believe it because I was so out of it. She's like, you got a warrant. I was like, no, not. I was just at the jail yesterday visiting. And I was like, I'm going there in a little bit. We're just getting kids some shoes and stuff, and then we're going there. She's like, I'm telling you got a warrant. I don't know. So I go to the visitation. I was like maybe 2 minutes in, and they tap me on the shoulder. And I'm like so tweaked out too. And I had drugs on me. I brought my shit because the girl was out in the car. So I was like, if I leave my stuff in the car, she's gonna steal it and do it. So I had it on me in visitation in the jail. So I had it in my pocket, and I fucking got tapped, and they're like, you gotta come with us. And I was right away, I'm like, oh my God, I'm definitely getting arrested. So I made it in with all my stuff, which happened a couple times. But anyway, so I'm in there, and I'm back in jail. Boom. Now I'm like, fuck, this is only a violation for writing my address wrong. I should definitely get through this. It took me a while to come to because I had quite a bit of Flocka, and I remember I had 2 caps of heroin, and I was in there doing them in jail, and I rolled the mat back, and I would hide and do stuff. And one of the times I just snorted a big fucking line of Flocka because I couldn't do it the way I wanted to, so I had to snort it. And that hit me hard too. I was like, whoa. And then here comes a sergeant. And they're pointing and they're pointing and they're pointing. And I'm like, and it's the big black sergeant too. And I was like, fuck, somebody told on me. Somebody see me. Panicking. I'm up on my bunk and they keep pointing at me and they're walking in the room. And I'm like, am I tripping? No, they're coming. They're like really coming in. Now here comes another guard and they're coming in with this kid. And I was like, I'm going to fucking kill this dude. He told on me. And I'm like panicking. I see him coming towards me. So I turn around and I eat the 2 caps of heroin I have. And I never ate caps of heroin like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh man, I wonder what this is going to do. But of course I can't throw them away. I got to eat it. So I ate those and they come right past me. There was something wrong with the sink. That's all it was. So now I just ate all this shit, and I'm like, oh my God, I just wasted all my drugs. I'm not even going to get to enjoy it. I'm just going to have one crazy fucking trip, which I did. I was fucked up. I just remember waking back up. I think I passed out on it. I was totaled. But now all my stuff's gone. But either way, so I got stuck in there for like 11 months waiting to go to trial, which is a judge trial through probation. Because I was like, I'm going to beat this shit. I had a lawyer. I had this one crazy chick that was out there that fucking I brought all my drugs in to keep from. She had my car, all my stuff. And then Julie, which is my wife now, I had called her because I just got her number. So when I got in, I'm like, of course you need somebody to send you money and shit while you're in there, right? So I was like, at least she'll put minutes on the phone and she'll send me some money. And, you know, and I did it, truth, like I wanted to be with her then, but I was so out of my mind, I knew that I would just crash her out. And I was like, you can't be around me. You promise you don't want to be with me. I'm not a good person. Thank God she didn't fucking run. I didn't run her off because I tried. I had to have her go and get my car. This girl did take some of my money that I had because I had like $5,000 from income tax because I would manipulate the income tax thing and just claim kid. And they weren't even mine and stuff. So she did put a little bit of money down on a lawyer. So I had this lawyer I thought was great. I got this, right? Julie goes through, she helps, she finished paying the lawyer, she gets my car, all my shit, she's riding out. I go finally in front of the judge. She's a 20-year Department of Corrections employee and you're a 9-time convicted felon. Who do you think I'm gonna believe? So why am I waste my time? Instead of 5 years though, they gave me 3. So he met in the middle, which it's not mathematically. That's not the middle in my math class, but whatever. I did 3 years after all this. Like it was. So I wrote out, went back to prison. This was the second time I went to prison. I gave me a year and a day too in the beginning for the fucking Xbox. Forgot about that part. So I got a year and a day, a year House of Hope, 2 years, or 6 months halfway, and probation. Then violated that, and they gave me 3 more years. So I did a lot of time for that fucking Xbox. And I didn't even get caught at the store with it. They never even got the Xbox. They just had a video of me doing it too, which is nuts. But anyway, the video was fucking. There was no denying it. They showed me the video, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to plead out to this one."
So I'm going to guess that this time you're locked up for 3 years, this is when Julie becomes your wife.
Yeah, she wrote out that whole thing for me, like a soldier. And I got out. Of course, we were getting married in there and all this stuff. Well, I was a changed man. I'm going to get out and I'm going to do great.
Of course.
I got this.
Everybody who's locked up believes that.
And I made it to work release and started taking Suboxone. And then I figured out that the Molly isn't Molly, it's meth. So I was snorting meth and Molly while I was there as well. But she didn't know. Is
this the work release in Fort Pierce?
No, this was Miami North. They sent me down. I couldn't get approved for this one, so the first one that took me was Miami North. So they sent me down to Miami.
Oh, my God.
She's coming to visit me all the time. And I had this crazy job selling magazines. You know how hard it is to fucking sell magazines on the phone? And I found out it's all a scam. We were just ripping people off. Never sent them a magazine. We just told them they owed for magazines.
That's another thing that was on American Greed.
Yeah.
That was.
Go figure.
Every American Greed story connects to Florida one way or another.
Of course it does.
So I'm working, and the guy that ran it was a gay guy. He was cool, but he was out of his mind. So he's giving me Suboxones, trading them in the work release for Molly, which is really meth, like a shitty ass version of like shake and bake meth. It's super tweaky. So I'm bugged out, and then all of a sudden, like, no one really knows at this time. I guess they can kind of tell. They just think they don't know, you know what I mean? So now I'm starting to trip, thinking fucking everything was great too, and I fucking took her on an adventure. She's got to be crazier than me because she put up with all this crazy shit in the hopes that I was gonna get out and get my shit together. But I'm already fucking off the rails in work release. I get out and it doesn't take me but maybe a week, and I'm back smoking crack, running the streets, and stealing her debit card and stealing her car in the middle of the night. She's sleeping, getting up and go to work, but now she's got no gas in the car. Her debit card's freaking robbed. I'm living with her mom, her sister, her stepdad, her kids, and her. 'Cause I just got out of prison. So, and I'm not even sleeping. I'm in their bathroom all night, and it's like in and outside bathroom. And I remember the stepdad would come and knock on the door, and I swear I was in the bathroom like 80% of the time that I was there. And they kind of never really even questioned it too much. I kind of like got away for a while, but I finally got an ultimatum from her. Like, all right, she figured out that I was fucking up, but she didn't think it was too bad because I was starting to shoot up again. And that, because the needle, I kind of justify all these years of halfway using if I didn't use the needle. But then when it starts with that needle again, it's like, I can't hide it. I can't control it. She gives me an ultimatum. We're not going to get married and da-da-da. And I did want to get my shit together. So I'm like, how can I do this? Because now I'm off the Suboxone because that interferes with doing pills and heroin and,
Yes.
and anything else. So I was no more Suboxone because it's fucking me up. I need to be able to get high like I want to get high, and Suboxone's in the way. Well, I come up with this master plan that I'll just do Suboxone and smoke weed and start drinking. And I can get off of everything else. And I did, though, because I'm a notorious horse switcher. I'll use one drug to wean me off. Over the years, I would switch something to get me off of something that was worse. Telling myself, like, this is going to work. Like, this is how I'm going to do it. I got this under control. Hold my beer. I made it through the wedding. Pretty fucked up, but I put myself on the Suboxone doctor. We got married. I got kind of off the Suboxone now. I had to wean myself off. That was hard, but I used alcohol and weed to wean myself off of that. And I spent like 5 years with maybe like a toot here, a toot there, some powder, just drinking and smoking weed. It took me all the way till like when you come into like Coastal to realize that I was alcoholic, because I spent that entire time drinking and I never even realized like I'm an alcoholic too, because I would hear alcohol and be like, oh, you drink too much. No, I'm good. I got this under control. I'm not stealing shit. I'm not robbing people. I'm
not shooting up the alcohol.
Yeah,
this is acceptable.
Yeah, everything's okay. But I did. I maintained a job. I could function as what I thought I was a functioning, which I kind of was for a small amount of time. For like 4.5 years, I was a functioning alcoholic, pothead, and occasional tutor. That led to doing the blow, because I thought I could get away with it. I ended up getting around some people that were doing it quite often. Of course, like, I got this. Look how long I've been. As long as I'm not shooting up, I'm fine. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Just watch. I did that for a while. We did, acquired a lot of things and had fun, and I could be involved in life, even though I just think back now and I don't even remember, like, fragments of it, because I was so obliviated on everything else. It's kind of sad, too, to think, like, damn, I don't remember my kid's graduation. I don't remember none of the kids' birthdays. I don't remember any of mine, nobody's. Any, like, dates that stand out are all gone. It led me to starting to use more and more. I got back on powder pretty heavy to where I was using it a lot. But I was still drinking and smoking. They balance each other out, so I thought. And I got into where I quit a job, and I kind of got in that baby, woe is me. I was making a lot of money. I was making like $130 a year for like 5 years. So I was making really good money. We built a house, all this shit. So when I lost that job, which my dumbass quit it, poured concrete for years for a pool company. So, but I couldn't not use it all night long and go to sleep. So I would use all night, be twisted out of my mind, and I gotta show up and pour concrete all day in the sun, completely drenched by like 9 o'clock. My boots are full of water. I'm miserable, dying, trying to catch my second wind, wishing I would have saved a bump. Just out of my mind. So I was like, this fucking job sucks. And I quit thinking that like everybody paid like that, because I was just so lost and shot out. I'll go get another job. Screw this. So then I realized, like, fuck, I just threw away like good opportunity, I got in my feelings, and instead of like buckling my bootstraps and then be like, all right, let's get back on track. No, I do the opposite. I fucking crash out all the way. I went way downhill then, and I thought I could start selling cocaine. I was like, I have a master plan. I'm gonna sell drugs, and I'm gonna go do freight brokering as a job, which I was really good at freight brokering if I wouldn't.
What the hell is that?
You're a middleman for the truck drivers. Say you needed your car picked up in Michigan and brought here to Florida. So I'll be like, okay, I'll get all the information from you, and then I'll put it on a board on the computer, and then a truck driver will hit on it. And then I just give them the info. They pick the car up. I tell you, hey, he's going to pick it up for $400 and have it here in 3 days. And really, he's only charging me $150. So really, you're just like this manipulative middleman, makes way more money than you should doing it. And I was pretty good at it. I'm a great bullshitter. It was like Wolf of Wall Street working in the office. You know what I mean? We were fucked. I'm twisted and drinking by like 9. I'm snorted out of my mind by 12. And I got to leave now because I don't want to sit in this office anymore. So fuck that. And I could do it from my cell phone. So I was like, I got this. I'll go home. Then I'm going to try to sell drugs in between too. Doesn't work out. Like I said, monkey that can't sell bananas. So kind of crashed that job out by not showing up.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, it's kind of important when you've got a job, you got to actually show up to it. Which was a blessing. I needed to get away from that because it was falling downhill fast. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go tattoo now because that's been my dream. I've always wanted to be a tattoo artist. I've drawn my whole life. I'm actually pretty good at it. So I got involved with a friend doing tattoo. He let me come into the shop like apprentice wise, and I've tattooed like pretty much everything on me and a bunch of my friends my whole life growing up, just being faded though. So never like did it serious, like sober. Meantime, like now I'm on it, but I'm trying to get my shit together, but now I'm this depressed crybaby, mad, and my wife's like, you got more issues, you should see a doctor. Yeah, maybe we should find out, because maybe I'm like in a psychosis like 99% of the time because I'm fucking barely, I sleep like 15 days a month. So I'm higher than draft pussy all the time on cocaine. I'm drunk, I'm stoned, so I'm like, yeah, maybe I have a problem. I'll go get to the doctor and he'll give me some meds for it. So then I got Adderall to go with all these. So now I'm spun out on all the above. I'm like trading Adderall for powder and thinking that I'm going to get powder. And I ended up in the tattoo shop. I got introduced from somebody to start using a needle again. I remember the day it happened, I was like, no, I can't. Because I had actually sold the person some coke. And then I'm like, I'm out. So now I need to get some. I didn't know that this person shot up. So it already is all mixed in a vial. So I remember being in a truck and he's like handing me caps of water. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to shoot up because I know in my mind, if I start shooting up, now I have a problem. I don't have a problem yet. Even though I'm destroyed my entire life, don't stay sober for more than 15 minutes. But if I use the needle, then I have a problem. About 8 caps of water I've snorted, but they're not hitting me like I want it to. So then it's like, all right, about the 10th time I was asked, I'm like, all right, I'll do this. And bam, here we go again. And that was December 13th, 2024. That started my needle use back up. And now I'm at home. My kids are all like grown up too. The youngest one is 15 at the time, 14 or 15. And the oldest is 21, 22. I have a few moved out, but I still have like 3 at the house.
How many kids you got?
5 to get with her. She has 4, I have 1, but we got together. I have other kids too that through my addiction over the years, it didn't bring up, but I lost over years. So it'd be like
so
8,
you have
8
other
altogether, yeah.
How many do you have?
Like 8 if you want to put it all together.
The fact
Shit.
you had to do the math to
Yeah.
figure out how many kids you have, and like, well,
Yeah.
there's these 2, and then
Yeah, that's a whole other story. for
God,
another
yeah, I
time.
don't want that story. That's insane.
Yeah. So we have 5 boys at the house, but there's like 3 left at this time. So now I'm back shooting dope again, but I'm hiding it from everybody. My wife especially, because I don't want her to know. Because if I do that, I feel disgusting.
That's crossing the line.
Yeah, because I'm a junkie. Like nobody likes a junkie. I looked at junkies as junkies for years, even though I've been a junkie most of my life. Like you're a low life junkie. You know what I mean? Till you look in the mirror and it's like, fuck, me too. So I'm back doing that, hiding, manipulating. Doesn't take long because she's not dumb. She figures out, comes into the bathroom one time, and I'm like trying to hide this shit, and she fucking figures out what I'm doing and loses it. So thank God that she was at this point too, where she started her career in nursing and stuff like that, because we had partied together and dibble-dabbled and stuff, and she would be like a weekend warrior with it, get her shit. She realized like this isn't where it's at, so she'd pull her shit together. But she would, if I was fucking up, she would fuck up here or there. But she didn't want to stay in that lifestyle, so she stopped. Now I got an ultimatum and be like, okay, you got to quit too. And I'm like, what? I'm not quitting. Like, why do I have to quit? Just because you don't want to stop? I don't want to stop. Like, that's your choice. She wasn't having that. It ended up getting to the point where like I was totally just hiding, manipulating, lying every moment, and she would know too. One time I'm in the bathroom and she kind of caught me and I'm lying about it. My eyes are colored, so when I get high on coke, my pupils get huge. Like my eyes aren't colored anymore; they're black. So I look like a demon. So she could tell right away, but I'm like, I'm still gonna lie till the wheels fall off. Like, no, I'm not high. And I act like a weirdo. I'm in there and I'm like, hey, I got one shot left. I'm gonna go in the bathroom and do this. She won't know, and she knows already. So she's like banging. I'm pulling on the bathroom door, and I'm trying to do it, but I'm trying to hold the door closed too, with like my foot and shit, because it's like one of the handle ones. So I got that, and I'm trying, and the next thing you know, here comes the scissors through the door, like fucking The Shining, bro. She's fucking jiggling the scissors through the door, and then pokes her eye in, and she's like, I fucking knew it, motherfucker. And I'm like, no. I'm trying to get this last shot off, dude. And that was like the first time, and it was like, I gotta fucking stop. This is out of control. Like this, I might have a problem right now. So that was like my first adventure with like, cause she was at the point then like, you fucking, I'm tired of this, and I'm like, look, don't leave yet. I got this. Let's try out rehab. I'm gonna try. I'll go to a detox. I went way up to Sebring, right? So I'm there. I'm like all in for this for the first like hour and a half. They showed me around, and it's like going to Shutter Island. You ever seen Shutter Island? It's like on this lake, and all the doors lock on you, and I felt literally like I was in the movie Shutter Island. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Why did I do this? This was stupid. Starting to come down, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be miserable. They gave me a bunch of meds, which is like my story for rehab always. They want to joke me up when I get there, and then I pass out. Boom. But then when I wake up, I'm not about that shit. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of here. I'm cured. I'm good. I can do this from home. Just come get me. And I talked my way out of it. Actually ended up getting in a big argument because they give you your cigarettes, but take your lighter. And they told me over the phone they let you smoke. Let you smoke is like let you smoke when you want to smoke to me. Not we're in an hour we're gonna have a 6-minute smoke break. Just chill. Like, no, there's no chill right now. Fuck you. I want my lighter. I'll leave. I got this big fight with them there and cussed out the director that was there and cussed out some of the staff. They went and got my shit. Now I'm walking down the streets of fucking Sebring with my duffel bag behind me on the phone trying to get a hold of somebody. I don't no clue where I'm at. Trying to get a ride. And I'm like 2.5 hours away. So finally I get picked up. I had a buddy come pick me up. I got back. I made it about a day of being clean. And I was right back on the shit again. Needless to say, my wife miserably mad, pissed the fuck off. She's like, you're not going to stop. I'm like, no, I got it. Like, I'm going to wean myself down. I'm going to do this a little bit here and there, and I'll be all right. About a week goes by. It's not working. I'm fucking spun out again. Just trapped in a bathroom like a psycho, running from the shadows. We had a motorhome in our front yard for a little bit. I'm hiding in the motorhome. Kids are coming, knocking on the door, and I'm like, telling them I'm figuring out how to get the lock off. Like, I'm stuck in here. Sorry. I want to open the door. So now I'm going to go to rehab again. So I try Remedy. I get to Remedy. I make this one. I made it like 2 days. Well, I brought drugs with me the first time. So I'm in the bathroom in Remedy using. And I'm like, this is crazy. How am I going to keep this in case I need to leave? I need to have this needle. It's the last needle I had. So I remember hiding in the bathroom in Remedy too. And I hope they threw it away if I'm kind of fucked up. I'm at Remedy and I'm like, intentions when I first get there is like, I'm going to do this. I came on a weekend, so there's no groups, no nothing. It was cool environment. Like, they got a pool and a big cabana and you can watch YouTube and shit. So like hang out, food, and they ordered from like a catered place. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. The second day I was like, no, this isn't for me. I got this. I need to go home because come get me. I fucking AMA from there. Now it's number 2 AMA. I make it home, same song and dance. I'm back spun out, hiding in the bathroom, running from the shadow of people, taping mail over the vents because they're watching me through my AC vents, poking holes in the wall, and they're watching me through the peepholes that I poke in the drywall. Somebody's watching me through those. That's how out of my mind I was. Here we go. Let's try this again. What are we going to do? I guess we'll go back to rehab. So we hunt around. I had a good friend of ours. She ended up passing, God bless her, but she told us about Coastal. She had worked there for a long time. She said that it was a great place and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? Let's try out Coastal. So I get to Coastal. They're going to take me in. I'm in there. I made it 3. Well, when I first get in, I manipulate them too because I figured out that if you get in there, first off, they don't want to take you for just cocaine. You have to have alcohol, which I had alcohol anyway. I know this now, so I'm taking Xanax and pills, and I have all kinds of shit in my system. And if you tell them you're all fucked up coming off of fentanyl, which it was in my system, which was Percocet opiates popped up, that they'll give you Subutex. So I hadn't taken that in so long, I didn't know I was going to get so far off. I mean,
I keep hearing that from people over and over
oh
again
my
that
God. I threw up all over Coastal.
Once again.
Yeah,
Once
notorious.
again,
Yeah. Heavin Steven. I threw up everywhere on Coastal. They even remember the next morning, like, what is all this? Every bush out back, everything. Yeah. Even the people that work there could attest to this. This is crazy. So after like day 3 of me being there, I'm like, oh, I can't be here. This is good. Can you guys let me out? Will you let me out early? I don't want to do 14 days in my mind at that time is way too long. I'm trying to participate, but all I can do is think about how am I going to manipulate my way out of here without pissing my wife off in the process. And that's not possible. I finally get her convinced that I can do this from home. I don't need to do this. Trust me, I got this. Hold my beer. We make it from Coastal to US 1, and I'm at the beer store. Needless to say, it didn't take but a couple of days, and she's pissed off again. I'm hiding in the bathroom again, out of my mind. Don't leave. Don't take the kids. Don't take all the pictures off the wall, which she did anyway that time. And you know GTA, Grand Theft Auto? I was like Trevor. I'm in my underwear in the living room. No more pictures on the wall. No nothing. I'm standing around like, oh my God, I've just totally burnt my life to the ground this time for sure. Call Coastal. I'm going to go myself. I need her to drive me there because I don't want to leave my car and they won't let you. So she agrees, takes me up there. This was time 2. I think I made it like 5 days and then AMA. Boom, I got to go. I make it back home for like a day or 2. I got to go back to Coastal again. So now I fight it and fight it. So I made it like 2 weeks that time on the streets myself. But now I'm going to drink and smoke weed again. I did this before. I know how to do this. I got this. I can drink and smoke weed and I'll get off the other hard drugs. Spun back out. No sleep for like 5-6 days. And I realized like I got to go back in. I go back to Coastal. This was like 3rd or 4th time. And I'm in there for about 6 days. I got a bright idea that I was going to leave and do this from home again. So now she's not answering the phone. Like if she answers, as soon as I say come get me, she hang up on me. So I'm like, fuck, how am I going to get out of here? They keep your phone too. So you're like, you leave, you're on your own. Like you're just free balling all the way. So I'm like, damn, I go in my room. I put my best, comfortablest shoes on. And I'm like, I'm going to walk from Stewart back to St. Lucie County, which 17 miles I walked straight to my dope man's house and got drugs and got high. That was the longest walk I've ever remember doing in my life. My feet hurt so bad for like a week. I could barely walk after that. As soon as I got to the drugs, I got high. Then I had to figure out how to go home, tell her that I escaped from Alcatraz and now I'm home. That's not what she wants to hear. That's not what she wants to see. I pop up at the house right away. We're arguing and fighting. I panic like, oh my God, I probably blew my shot. Being at Coastal now. Call. They tell me to come back in the morning. Then I come back in the morning. When I get there, you could hook me up to a lie detector. I'm dead ass serious. I want to get my shit together. I'm 100% about this. I'm going to do it. But within a few days, I kept falling back to that madness. Like I couldn't. It was like that monkey was on my back so bad. And I explain it like venom. Like it's inside me, like guiding me. Like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I had this constant battle in my head with like, you got this, you can do it on your own, you did it before, you can do it this way, you don't need all this fucking therapy and these fucking classes and AA and NA, like that shit doesn't work anyway. I get in there this last time, let me back in from my long walk home, my walk of shame. This was the first time I was like, all right, I'll try to hang out. So they doped me up real good when I was there in the beginning. So I guess with that like extra Ativan, they pretty much know me there pretty good. I'm likable when I'm not out of my mind. So they kind of like tolerated me pretty decently. And they were like, all right, Steven, you gonna get this shit this time? I'm like, yeah, 100%, let's do it. And I did. I sat through that one. And that's when I first met you. That's when you came in. You brought in a meeting. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I still had that thought in my mind, like this AA, NA, this whole thing. Like I could sit here and teach a class. I've been through it from the drug dorms to the Savannahs, all these places I've been and tried. Like I knew the lingo and I know what they're trying to cram down my throat, but I'm just throwing it up everywhere like I do everything. Sitting there and I'm great, like I said in the beginning, I can do great inside like an enclosed environment once the drugs wear off and the madness subsides a little, like, and I know I'm gonna go ahead and hang it out because I was gonna prove that I could make it 14 days this time. So I was like, watch this, I'll stay. Yeah, y'all think I'm gonna leave, I got this. So, and I'm gonna sit through it. But I remember when you brought the message in, like, and I heard your story and I was like, damn, if he fucking got clean, this fucking crazy motherfucker gets clean and he could do it, and he's lived like the same madness in a way, just took a few different roads.
Different counties, different states, but same story.
Same kind of madness. So I was like, man, okay. And you don't have to just sit and say alcohol. Like, it could be anything. It doesn't have to just, because you're in Alcoholics Anonymous, it's not just alcohol. You can replace that word in your mind with whatever you want. So that helped me out hugely. And I was like, I had been to alternatives, you know, and you said it was your home group Saturday. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to check it out. So I made it through the first time. I had like the first sense of accomplishment ever. Like, I got this. Look at me. I made it out of rehab and detox. All I got to do is go to a meeting. I don't need a sponsor and all that shit, you know? Like, I got this. So all I need to do is just go to the meetings. And
But you did. You showed up. I remember.
I showed up. And it lasted, I got like a 30-day run on that one. Or right up to it. I don't think I got to pick the 30-day chip up. And I crashed. So then I'm like, right away. I crashed out for about a week and a half. Hard. No sleep till Brooklyn. Like, didn't even close my eyes for that whole week. I caught myself standing there like Trevor in the house with no pictures on the wall, looking like a madman, like, oh my God, I burned my life to the ground. And everybody just started to get trust. Like, you got this, Steven, here, you got this. To pat me on the back, tell me how great they are, proud of me. And lo and behold, like, for the first few days they're doing this, I'm like using behind their back and like, oh no, don't catch me. I can't let them know. I got this. I'll just do a little here and there. That never works. Then I'm back at Coastal for like the 5th or 6th time.
Now you got your own room.
Yeah.
They got a wing named after you.
I did get my own room that time. And they gave me, and there wasn't enough people all the way to the last 2 days. I had my own room the whole time because I think they were like, we're not even going to put anybody in here with him. We're just let him fucking, he's still here. We're happy he's here. Keep everyone out of his room. He hasn't ran yet. Like, all right, he might do it this time. I did. I completed it again. I made it like 56 days. I was proud of myself, and you could have strapped me up to a lie detector test. I would have passed with flying colors. 100% believed I was going to stay clean and sober. I don't know what it was. I remember I was riding down a road and passing a road that I got drugs off of. And I was like, you know what, maybe. I had this crazy battle in my mind. Before I realized what I had done, it's like my subconscious tricked my conscious by an argument in my own head. By the time I realized I had already copped drugs and went to a pharmacy and manipulated the whole situation and hid my phone under a garbage can at a different store so my location couldn't be tracked and made it back to my house, it was too late. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? I just had so much time. What am I going to do? I remember standing there looking at this bag of powder. I just do this and I'll be done. And I did. But it was like the craziest feeling of like that disgust. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? After everything, and you're still gonna, like, are you destined? Just at this time I had like, all right, do the steps. I had gone so many meetings and I had like recently been filled with so much information about the 12 steps and the program and seeing people like you that could make it and stuff. And like, all right, I know what I need to do. I've heard it 100 times. Like, you got to get a sponsor. You got to go through the steps. You got to thoroughly work this program and you can be clean and sober. I remember having this conversation with God and I was like, I'm in my bathroom. I got tears in my eyes because I'm down to like, I don't know, probably because of both. I was mad at myself and I was out of powder. I had like one shot left and I was like, listen, I will do 100%. And I did, because I didn't want to go back to Coastal again. They would have accepted me, but I just was like, I can't do this walk of shame again. I was like, look, if I do my part, you do yours and take this obsession away from me. And I went that night, hired in giraffe nuts, back to the meeting, and I sat through a meeting. I had told myself, well, she caught me. She knew. She looked at me and she knew I was high. So I was like, yes, after lying a few times. And then I said yes. And I went back to a meeting that night and I was like, all right, I'm going to take it serious. I asked the person to sponsor me and I was like, look, I don't have a lot of time to get through the steps because I'm like a 45-day max and I'm on the run again. So let's do this. I held my end of the bargain up. I started working my steps. I got with my sponsor. I called him as much as I didn't. It sounded so gay and goofy to get on the phone and call and be like, hey, hi, and check in. And I'm like, I've just never been that type of person. Yes. So I was like, this is so weird. Like, is this gonna work? It's better fucking work. I had to like really get out of my own way because I was the problem always. I always get in my own way and get in my head and I manipulate myself into thinking like, I can do this. I don't need this shit. I don't need somebody to guide me through. I know this book. I never did. So this time I took it serious. I worked my steps and I've made it through the program and I'm now sponsoring other guys. And God truly did relieve that obsession of the mind, which is insane to me because that my entire life
was controlling everything.
Everything. Dude, I've never ever had a where if I thought about drugs even like that, because I still have like a fleeting thought once in a blue moon, I probably will for the rest of my life. I've had drug dreams here and there, but like I don't obsess anymore. Like it used to be so bad that if I even thought about it, I couldn't, there was nothing, not my kids, nothing, even if I spoke about it and told somebody, like, hey, I'm thinking about getting high, it didn't matter. I would still go. There was no stopping me. 1,000% I was on the move. I was going to figure out how to do it. And now I don't have that anymore. And that's like the best feeling in the world, to not have that obsession and just be controlled by this substance or multiple substances that can just like overpower every thought, every action. It's amazing to be able to like sit here with you sober 100%. Because I used to sit and envy people like, how the fuck do you make it through a day without drinking, smoking, snorting, anything? Like, what the fuck? Is something wrong with you, or is it me, or like, how do you guys do that? And now
I used to feel the same way
it's the best feeling, dude.
when I heard other people talk about it. I was like, there's no way I can turn my brain off from thinking of what I can do to get the next thing, and who I can lie to, what doctor can I go to, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's only once I worked them steps, and I believed in God always, and I talked to God always, but I had to do those steps to realize, oh shit, I'm the fucking issue.
Yeah.
And if I do this little bit of work that's actually
Little.
very easy that I
Very
put
easy.
off for 20 years, my life will get different? No, that can't work. And it fucking works. Then you're like, Jesus Christ, I don't have to ever walk 17 miles to get high again.
Me neither. Well, I know it, and it's amazing, and it's real. Like, I've always believed in God too, and then finally just to be like truly get out of my own way and let Him guide me through the day has been like a big thing for me. I wake up in the morning now and I pray and I ask Him, you know what I mean? Kind of similar to the third step decision, just like, hey, keep this obsession away from me. Show me what you want to do. Bless my family and just guide me through the day. Thank you for another day sober and clean. And it
Yes,
seems to work every day.
It's basically my prayer in the morning, my prayer at the night, and that's what pisses me off when I ask other people, like, hey, come speak for me, hey, do this, and they don't want to do it. It's like, well, if you did the third step right, you would know that anytime somebody asks you to do something fucking recovery-related, you better fucking do it,
Yeah,
and they
'cause-
don't, and I get pissed.
You might be saving another person's life.
If you could get a message out there to everyone in the world, what would you say to someone who's sick and suffering as crazy as us?
So to all the sick and suffering addicts that are still out there using, you don't have to live that way. There is a solution. There's a good majority of us that hear it and we don't want to believe it, because I was for sure. I knew there was another way than AA or going through the book and getting a sponsor and doing the steps, but I promise there isn't. And I swear it works, is the craziest thing. As goofy as it sounds, as cliche, and it's totally out of your norm to bow down and admit that you need help from another man or woman, but I promise, once you do that and you take the initiative to actually follow through with this program, it will work. It can change your life, because it did mine. I have a whole new life. I have a whole new group of friends. I have a whole new outlook and perspective of everything, and it's amazing. I was at the end, the bitter end, where there's just nothing else is going to work. This isn't going to work for me. When I finally did get out of my own way and take the advice that was given to me, it does.
You should talk more about the wiener stuff.
No, that's it.
No?
That's enough.
Thank you for watching The Recovery Idiot. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and immediately visit therecoveryidiot.com and buy a shirt, or you be gay. Find the social medias and like, subscribe, swipe right, retweet, or whatever the fuck is required. If you have never puked on a cop's lawn, are you even a real drug addict?